Hello and welcome. Today we're going to talk about .NET, things that we can build today and things that we'll be building in the future. My name's Ed Charbeneau. I'm a principal developer advocate with Progress Software, and I'm primarily focused on Telerik UI for Blazor right now. So I've been a developer with .NET for as long as it's been around, and Progress Telerik, we've been making tools for .NET for just as long. It's been about 20 years since the first launch of .NET, and over that time, we've created about 25 dedicated tools to .NET. We have over 275,000 customers and millions of users. And at Progress, we love .NET. And we especially love .NET 6. There's a lot of great things that are coming to the platform. And along with that is major speed and performance boosts. So we're seeing ASP.NET Core specifically getting some major speed improvements in this latest release. We're super excited about this because it affects a lot of our product portfolio. Things like Telerik reporting see major benefits from this. And then, of course, all of our customers using our UI components with .NET backends are seeing performance improvements as well. And in this latest release, we've also seen the unification of .NET again. So we are able to develop .NET applications for such a wide variety of platforms within this ecosystem. And the amazing thing is so many of those things are supported by Progress Telerik tools. So we have UI components for many of these aspects of .NET development, whether it's web, desktop, or mobile, or we have reporting products, HTTP services like our Telerik Fiddler product that can help you debug web APIs. And all of these things come with various plugins for Visual Studio for Mac, and VS Code. So we're happy to be part of this massive ecosystem where we have so many opportunities to create tools for developers like you and me. ASP.NET Core is getting expanded quite wide these days. We've got so many different ways that we can write ASP.NET Core applications in regards to web UI. So we've got the model view controller, Razor pages. So we're using Razor views in these two instances. We also have Blazor, or you could be using a pure web API backend and doing front-end development with one of your favorite JavaScript frameworks like React, Vue, or Angular. And at Progress, we support all of those platforms with our various UI components. So if you're in the JavaScript community and you're doing MVC development, we have Kendo UI for jQuery and ASP.NET, Telerik UI for ASP.NET Core and MVC. If you're doing pure web API stuff, you're probably using something like Kendo UI for Angular or Kendo React, or even Kendo UI for Vue. And if you're like me, you've jumped on the Blazor bandwagon, and we have 95 plus components for Telerik UI for Blazor already. And Blazor is one of my favorite things. I mentioned at the very beginning that that's something I've been focused on for a while, and I think it's absolutely amazing. I'm going to show some demos later of what we can do with the Blazor platform on ASP.NET Core. So Blazor is able to run server-side or client-side with WebAssembly, or even in the future here with hybrid development on desktop and mobile as a native application. And I'm going to show you a little bit as to how those Blazor MAUI hybrid apps are built. And while we're talking about Blazor, the Telerik UI for Blazor, again, 95 plus components that are going to help you build amazing apps. And I'll show you how to get started with some of our templates in just a little bit. Before we get on to our demo, I want to mention that our testing capabilities are also broadly adopted across the .NET platform. So if you're using XUnit or BUnit, we have JustMock to help you mock your unit tests or do integration tests. And we also have a product called Telerik Test Studio that can help you with your system end-to-end tests and integration tests. And those all have plugins for Telerik UI for Blazor, so we have you covered across your entire Blazor application for testing. It's amazing stuff. Uh, Hybrid applications with Blazor and .NET MAUI are something that I think is really cool that is coming up in the latest version of .NET. This is currently still in preview as of .NET 6. We're expecting this to ship in mid 2022, and we'll be able to reuse our UI components across native applications on iOS, Android, and the web. It's built on top of MAUI, or the multi-platform app UI, and it uses a native app container to embed our HTML controls. What's really nice about that is we can build native desktop and iOS and Android applications, and they're not using WebAssembly. They're actually using the native .NET runtime on those devices. So it's super fast, and it gives you access to APIs that are available on those devices. That Blazor hybrid model is built on top of MAUI, or a multi-platform app UI. This gives us that cross-platform native UI option. If you're not into building things with HTML and CSS, then you can build with native components as well. It's a single project file, single project type of system, a single code base, and you can deploy to any type of device, whether it's desktop or mobile. And again, Microsoft is going to have this available early next year. Now, we at Progress are looking at this platform as well, and we already have previews for Telerik UI for MAUI. And if you're using Xamarin, MAUI is going to be super interesting to you because MAUI is the evolution of Xamarin, and we have a UI platform for that as well. And speaking of desktop development, we also have components for all of your WinUI needs, UWP, anything XAML, we have you covered. So let's jump into a demo. Let's talk about Blazor. Let's build a quick application. Let's look at some of that Visual Studio integration, and then we'll convert that application into a Blazor hybrid app. All right, let's jump into Visual Studio 2022 preview and create a Blazor application integrated with MAUI so it runs on the desktop. To do that, we're going to use the preview bits because we're going to need that MAUI Blazor app template in just a minute, but we're going to start first with the Telerik C# Blazor application because this is going to give us our web application built with Blazor and amazing UI components at the same time. We'll go ahead and hit next here. So we want to create this new project. We'll call it our demo app. We'll hit create. And this is going to bring up a wizard where we can select which .NET framework we want to work with. And I'm going to choose WebAssembly here because we're going to be reusing some of our client code for our MAUI app. And I'm going to choose the admin template. This is going to give us a lot of rich UI components and themes for those components. So I'm going to start with the Bootstrap Urban theme. I like this one. There's some material themes here as well. If you're into the material design, those look great too. We'll go ahead and hit finish. And this is going to scaffold everything out for us. So I've got my demo application and it's ready just that quick. I'm going to go ahead and jump right into the terminal here and just do a .NET run. So this is always up and running for us. .NET run. And this is going to make sure our server is going in the background because our web API endpoints need to be live for the MAUI application when we build that. So we're listening on localhost 5001. So if we pull up our browser and do localhost 5001, there is our brand new application built with the Telerik UI template. And these are drag and drop components. We can move them around in these different tile locations. We have charts, graphs, data grids, all sorts of great stuff in here, along with this nice navigation panel on the left-hand side. It just looks absolutely fantastic, and we get all of this out of the box, and the templates are really easy to edit and work with. So we'll go ahead and close the browser down. Again, our web API is still running in the background there, and that's going to come in really handy for us in a moment. So what we want to do is take this client web application and add a desktop version of the application to our project. And we can do that with MAUI. So I'm going to choose Add New Project. And I'm going to choose the .NET MAUI Blazor app preview. Again, it's preview. It's launching early next year. We'll go ahead and add that project template to our application or our project solution. All right. So the Maui template comes with its own pages and shared folders, just like a Blazor app does. We're going to go ahead and get rid of those. Those are Razor components, by the way, but we don't need those. We have them already in our client apps. We'll go ahead and delete those from the Maui application. We're going to link over to this client application. We don't even need the CSS files that come with this. We've already got those. We can delete the fave icon too. And then to avoid any naming conflicts here, we'll call this HTML file, change that from index to Maui HTML. Now at the head of that HTML file, we're going to go ahead and update that to make sure it matches the one that's on our server and has the same head information. This one is going to bootstrap a Blazor web view instead. And what's really cool about that is it's not using WebAssembly, it's using the full .NET framework that's available on the device it's running on, which means it's going to be super, super fast. Now, let's go ahead and link our project. So we can do that by coming in here and saying add project reference. I'm going to choose my client Blazor WebAssembly application. We'll go ahead and add that here. We also need to make sure that we have any NuGet packages that the app might need access to. So we'll make sure that we have the Telerik UI for Blazor in here as well. Go ahead and install that one. Go ahead and accept those terms there. And then we need to update some of the application bootstrapping bits here. So I want to come into main.razor and tell the application where to find our client routing. So our routing is all inside of our demo client application. So we'll be able to find that those views in there. And we deleted these main layouts. So we'll go ahead and add a reference to where the application can find those layouts in our WebAssembly app. So we'll go ahead and make sure we've got the fully qualified namespace for those items there. I need to do the same on this line. It's essentially telling the app where to find the main layout for the views used in the Maui or the UI portion of the Maui app. All right, so we've got that done. Final step here. So we need to go in and tell Maui how to use HTTP client. This is not something that comes out of the box with Maui. So we need to just do a little simple configuration here and tell it to use HTTP client and give it a base address. We're doing some local development today, so we're going to use localhost 5001. Again, that's where our application sits. And if I click on that link, you should be able to see it's still running in the browser. I just want to use the endpoints, the web API endpoints for that in my app. Now, I should be able to run this app, this Blazor Maui app. So I'm going to choose set a startup project, and it's going to default to Windows machine. And we'll go ahead and run this, and we should get a fully functioning desktop application. And there is our desktop application running in Maui, the same client UI, but being rendered by the Maui application itself. The web API endpoints calling the same data in and displaying this in a native desktop application. And we could add things here to make native calls to the desktop and do file IO, push notifications, all of those things that you get out of the Windows UI. And we could also make this app run in iOS, Android, and on the Mac desktop as well. It's really amazing stuff that we're going to be able to use in the next cycle of the .NET release. And here at Progress, we are here to support you as .NET developers with all of these things. If you want to see more about our components and our tools, go to docs.telerik.com or demos.telerik.com. And at any time, leave us feedback at feedback.telerik.com. Thanks so much for your time, and I hope to hear from you all and see what type of apps that you're building with .NET 6.